Hey everyone, how's it going? Hey Angela, hey Madeline, thanks for joining me today. Just let me know if you guys can hear me okay and if you can see things. Can you guys hear me? Hey Madeline. I've had some problems with the sound earlier, so I just wanted to make sure that the microphone was working. Can you guys hear me okay? Yes. Madeline notices the flowers. Can you hear me guys? Is everything working okay? Cool, cool. Okay, sorry, I just had to check. Like I said, had a lot of problems with the sound and the audio this morning. So it's great to be here. Like I said, the weather is super nice here at the moment. Really sunny, very very hot and warm. And again, we may have a guest in the form of my cat, who's just walked into the room. So she may be joining in just a minute. But yeah, as you can see, the setup here today, I just wanted to kind of continue where we'd left off from last week, and how I was using a book in terms of trying to find color combinations, trying to find things that work already. And I found that, I brought this book along, and I was saying how it's often good to kind of limit your color palette and use things that are already working in a way, and to sort of reference things from things that already exist. So today I kind of wanted to just take that on a bit further, and just went into my garden to pick some wildflowers and just see what was growing out there. And in a way, I was just thinking about how, when you're picking a color palette, how it really is the same as flower arranging. Hey Susan, good to see you. I see you've been able to join us. Great to have you here again. And so yeah, I was just talking about how, or thinking about how, in the same way. And by the way, I don't, I'm not very good at arranging flowers myself, but I did think that it had the same kind of feel to it in the way that you're picking out, a handful of colors, and you're trying to combine textures, shapes, and color in a way that complements one another and allows them to sort of really kind of pop off and work off one another. So that the pink and the kind of lilac flowers, they work well together. They complement each other well, but just that addition of the yellow really helps to make things really kind of pop together. So I was just having a look in my Prismacolors to see what would best suit these colors together. And so I kind of picked out, or was looking for a range of pinks to use, and then obviously some types of purples and lilacs to use as well. And then finally, obviously, like a really bright yellow that I was able to find. So just by combining actually a light blue with the lilac together, that's how I kind of created this middle color here. So that was just kind of thinking about how you could create a palette of three maybe. So with a pink and a kind of lilac-y purple, and then that yellow. And then, trying to think of other things that we could use to bring in. And I had this swatch of fabric here, and I just thought I'd use or try to pick out the colours that we used in there as well. I mean, there are only, you can see here, there's just 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 colours, including the kind of the white ground or the back of the fabric. So yeah, I just went through and was trying to locate those maybe 4 or 5 colours that we could use, and in the same way. Angela, okay, it's not letting me load the stream. Not sure why. Okay, maybe Angela, I don't know if you can hear me, but maybe you could try to log out and then log back in again. It also might be my computer as well. I don't know if the internet is a bit slow where I am at the moment, but let me know if you have any problems with trying to log in. So yeah, and just trying to again, I think when you're planning, something that you're looking to work on, trying to create those little swatches of color and trying to experiment with the different types of tone, the shading that you can create with them as well. I think that helps you to give a a better idea, and in doing that testing beforehand allows you to see what's working well and what isn't. So that was my little idea for that. And another thought I had was, when you do come up with a combination of colours that work really well together, that you're happy with, is there a kind of a nice little way of keeping them together? And one of the things I thought about and I just had lying around in my studio was just a bunch of rubber bands. And so I just thought it would be really handy if you ever do come across a a little color combination that works really well. You could use a rubber band just to tie them together and to keep them, especially if it's something that you're really happy with. And yeah, so you could have a whole bunch of these little guys in your art studio or your office. And it makes it really quick and easy to just get back to them straight away, especially if it's a set of colors that works really well. So yeah, I was just kind of thinking about that. So yeah, I don't know if you guys had any other kind of questions or anything like that, but I mean, today was going to be quite quick, just because I thought that I didn't think there would be many of you today. And I know that I've got a few things to get through this afternoon. So yeah, I just I wondered, I'll put it to you guys. What kind of things have you been working on at the moment, or what kind of problems or things have you encountered, in your coloring recently? Or even, what do you think of the idea? I don't know whether anyone's done that before, or kind of picking out colors from plants or flowers, or even fabrics, books or magazines or things like that. But yeah, I was just kind of curious to know where you guys get your inspiration from, and where you like to pick your kind of color combinations and your ideas from. Madeline, no problems, just playing with colors and shading in mandalas. Cool. Susan, I've been playing with watercolors. Oh, wow, awesome. Is that with, Susan, is that with watercolor pencils or watercolor paints? And Madeline, I was just wondering, when you're experimenting with the colors and shading in some of the mandalas, or even other coloring pages that you've been working on, do you like to kind of plan ahead, or do you like to kind of go with the flow and just try and pick out colors that you think might work well? I think you're someone that's been coloring for a while, so I imagine things like that kind of come quite naturally anyway, being able to pick out colors and see what works well. I don't know if you guys can see this, I've got a tiny bug on my page. Must have fallen out of the flower, but I don't know if you can see him. Very small. Susan says, watercolor brush markers and water pens. Oh, awesome. Okay, great. Yeah, I know I've got a set of markers here that are that have that kind of effect. They're really great at kind of blending together large areas of color. But yeah, watercolor brush markers and water pens, they sound great. I guess in terms of, are you able to get a lot of detail, or is it just good for creating like flat areas of color, Susan? Madeline says, I'm finding that if I have a starting point, then I usually add a couple more as I go along. Madeline, you've only been coloring for less than a year. Wow. I'm amazed. I actually, I thought you'd been coloring for a lot longer than that. Yeah, to be honest, Madeline, I'm a little like you. I'll kind of have an idea of what I want to do in my mind before I start, and then I like to, yeah, kind of work along as I go. To be honest, I think that's the that's my natural kind of inclination. I know last week, I was drawing from the book that I'd referenced, and I made a start with this guy in the middle, and it was kind of complementing this guy that I'd done the week before. But yeah, it was funny to think about. It made me think, a lot about how I make decisions or choose colors, and even like why I choose the colors that I do, and I often find as well that it could be quite thematic for me. So if it's I'm quite drawn to quite cool colors anyways, like blues and purples and things like that. So I don't know whether that has anything to do with my mood or anything like that, but I find it quite fascinating the way people choose colors, and sometimes people have like really personal kind of feelings about them, or strong kind of thoughts or ideas about them as well. Susan, yeah, it depends on the size of the brush pen and the amount of detail that you get. Yeah, I imagine if you've got those kind of chisel edges, then they're great for kind of applying those large flat areas. Angela says, well, I guess I'll have to watch the replay. I think the filters here are blocking it. I'm sorry, Angela. And she says, hope everybody has a great day. I'm signing off now. Well, catch you soon in the group. Madeline says, I found some pretty combos on Pinterest and print them out to have a reference until my book gets here on June 9th. Ah, cool. So you've got another one on the way. I wondered how your mandala maze was going as well, actually. I'm quite keen to see how the pages look for that. But yeah, Pinterest is another good one. I think I mentioned it last week, but I wasn't sure how a lot of you kind of like to use it, or whether you use it at all. But yeah, Pinterest is great for finding color combinations and ideas. Like it might not even relate to coloring books and coloring pencils in general, but yeah, it could be finding color schemes for a room, or color palettes for some textile designs or patterns. So I think all of that stuff can be used to try and give you ideas, and to try and experiment with other types of color combinations. So I kind of just wondered, actually, with the three colors that I picked out from the flowers, how they might work in this piece if I started another corner and just to experiment, really. This is what for me it's all about. It's just to try these ideas and see what works, and to keep experimenting with things. So yeah, I'm not sure as well whether I feel bold enough just yet to use watercolors. I find I'm a lot more comfortable using coloring pencils and gel pens and markers and things like that. So maybe one day I'll try and get hold of some watercolors again, and watercolor pens. Maybe that's the right idea, or the right way to go, actually, with it, Susan. We have been Susan says, we have been doing flowers and butterflies. Next up are to try my watercolor pencils with the brush pens. Yeah, nice. That would be great to kind of see them combined and see how they work together. Susan. And then Madeline says, that is a bit of a disappointment, still mucking around with it though. Oh, the Mandala maze. Okay, that's a shame. I'll post it when I have something worthwhile. No problem. Well, that's a shame that the Mandala maze was a bit of a disappointment. Why was that? Is it just the artworks themselves, or maybe not being able to kind of color it as much? Because it just sounds like it's a cross between like an activity book and and a coloring book as well. Is that the case, Madeline? Or yeah, actually, I don't know if I mentioned it. I've been pretty busy the last few days. I've been busy trying to work on getting a lot of new coloring pages together. So if you guys are watching this back on the replay, I hope to have some more good stuff for you guys soon. So obviously keep an eye out in the group. And yeah, if you haven't joined already, and maybe you're watching this back on YouTube or a replay of Crowdcast, sorry, then yeah, come and join the Facebook group. You'll find us under Colouring Books for Calm, Relaxation and Inspiration. And yeah, come and join in. We're all pretty friendly group, and hopefully we'll find some cool ideas in there and see some great work that's being made by everyone. So yeah, I just wondered. Madeline says combining the maze with the mandala. Okay, yeah. So it's not kind of, to my mind, it doesn't seem like it's either one or the other. It's sort of like a cross between a kind of a maze and then a coloring book for mandalas. So did you find that it was maybe like after a while, I suppose, you're either enjoying the activity of doing the maze, or maybe, I don't know, maybe it gives the flexibility to play around with the mandala as well. I don't know. But yeah, having a lot of fun just getting into this, I have to say. And yeah, I'm just going to rotate around these three colors. It's the way I normally like to work. I think I mentioned last week how I normally like to just use about 4 colors. And I like to keep things pretty simple, really, just rotating the colors around, especially with Zentangles and mandalas. I find it really therapeutic, just not having to have tons of different colors to use. Madeline says, yeah, maybe the artist concept. Yeah, absolutely. Maybe it was their thought to kind of try combine the two together. In a way, I mean, when you think about mandalas and Zentangles, they kind of do feel like mazes in a way that they're all joined together and how they combine and work with one another. So yeah, you can totally see how it makes sense to kind of combine those two ideas together. Yeah, I don't know what you guys have planned for the coming week, or even the weekend, actually. Have you guys got anything on at the moment, or looking forward to? I know, Madeline, you said that you're getting a new book on 9th of June. What's on the way? And Madeline just adds that mazes are challenging, which is fine, but the mandalas don't resemble mandalas. Okay, cool. And that's what I would have thought too. Yeah, definitely. I guess everything's just a little experiment, isn't it, just to see if things work. But yeah, I'd still be keen on seeing those mazes, to be honest. I'd like to see how they look. So I'm just going to end up with these little corner bits here. And actually, from just doing this little section here, I've noticed how already I've got the blue, I've got the yellow, I've got this kind of fuchsia pink, but now it doesn't kind of make sense for me to use either. Maybe the pink again could go in here so that it doesn't kind of touch or clash with the other colors. But that's just something that I noticed as I was making this up as I'm going along. So let me just see if this is going to work well. My other thought is that it feels like there's a bit too much pink going on in this particular one now, so maybe it could be good to rotate something else out, or even to add another color. I wonder what would work with the blue and the pink there. And Madeline says, sound's gone. Can you hear me? Hello? Sometimes, sorry, it might be that I've gone a little quiet, just because when I'm concentrating on colouring, I'm not very good at doing two things at once. But I hope you guys can, yeah, can you hear me? Madeline, video stopped. Okay, maybe I should wrap up then. So Madeline's saying the video stopped and sound is kind of dropping in and out, but maybe this might be a good time to wrap up. So thank you, Madeline, and thank you, Susan, and for having Angela earlier. Thanks, guys, for joining me. I'll try and make sure that this is that the sound's working okay in the recording, and maybe I can upload this up onto YouTube and you can catch this back. But I will hopefully see you guys in the group. And if you're watching this on YouTube or Crowdcast, feel free to follow me, subscribe and follow on YouTube and Crowdcast, and catch me on Wednesdays, and we'll be hopefully going through another aspects of colouring and colouring books and techniques. So hope to see you guys soon, and yeah, if you can't hear me, I'll say goodbye, but I'll see you soon. Take care.